On the night of November the 13th, 1974, 6 members of the DeFeo family were found murdered inside their home at 111 Ocean Avenue in Amityville. What happened inside that house would eventually become one of the most famous paranormal stories in history. Books were written, films were made, people claimed that the house was haunted by demonic forces. But behind the ghost stories and the Hollywood mythology was something very real, a brutal mass murder. And to this day, people still argue over where the truth ends and the legend begins. This is True Crime with Emma, and if you like true crime, please feel free to follow me on YouTube, TikTok or Spotify. Just search for True Crime with Emma. This is the true case behind the Amityville Horror. The DeFeo family lived in a large Dutch colonial house in suburban Long Island. To neighbours, they appeared to be a fairly ordinary family. But inside the home, tensions had reportedly been building for years. The father, Ronald DeFeo Sr., was described by people who knew him as strict and intimidating. His eldest son, Ronald DeFeo Jr., nicknamed Butch, had a troubled history involving violence, drug use, and emotional instability. Friends later claimed that the household was volatile and deeply unhappy. Then, in the early hours of November the 13th, everything changed. One by one, 6 members of the family were shot to death in their beds using a .35 Marlin rifle. The victims were Ronald DeFeo Sr., his wife Louise, and 4 of their children, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthew. Later that evening, Ronald DeFeo Jr. burst into a bar shouting, "You've got to help me. I think my mother and father have been shot." Police followed him back to the house and discovered the bodies. Remarkably, none of the neighbours reported hearing the gunshots clearly, despite the weapon being extremely loud. Even stranger, all 6 victims were found in their beds. Most of them were lying face down, as if they had been shot in their sleep. Autopsies later suggested that while the victims hadn't been drugged, the sheer speed of the execution and the disorientating echo of the rifle may have paralysed them with fear. There were no signs of a struggle, there was no evidence of anyone being restrained, and no indication that any of them had tried to escape. The scene immediately baffled investigators. At first, Butch attempted to blame the murders on a mafia hitman, but under investigation, his story quickly collapsed. Eventually, he confessed, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast," he reportedly told detectives. Ronald DeFeo Jr. never gave a consistent explanation for why he killed his family. DeFeo said that his father was controlling and abusive. The household was certainly volatile. Ronald Jr. reportedly used heroin, LSD,